Hello, and welcome to Bedtime Business Stories, the channel where we explore the fascinating tales of iconic companies, perfect for drifting off to sleep. Tonight, settle in as we journey back in time to tell the story of a retail giant that once dominated the American landscape, Circuit City. It's a tale of incredible success, baffling decisions, and valuable lessons that still resonate today. So get comfortable, close your eyes if you wish, and let's begin. Our story starts in 1949, not with a massive superstore, but with a humble television set. A man named Samuel Wurtzel was vacationing in Richmond, Virginia, when he saw the dawn of a new era on a black and white screen. Convinced that television was the future, he took a leap of faith and opened the very first Ward's company, a small appliance store. The post-war boom was in full swing, and American families were eager to fill their homes with the latest technology. Ward's, which stood for Wurtzel's Appliance and Radio Distribution Service, rode this wave perfectly. For the next few decades, the company grew steadily. In 1975, Samuel's son, Alan, took the helm. Alan Wurtzel was a visionary. He saw that the world of electronics was becoming more complex, and customers needed more than just a place to buy a product. They needed guidance, expertise, and a great experience. He began transforming Ward's from a collection of small stores into something new, something grander. This transformation led to the birth of the Circuit City Superstore format in the mid-1970s. These weren't just stores. They were destinations, bright, spacious, and filled with an almost overwhelming selection of stereos, VCRs, and the latest gadgets. The 1980s were the golden age for Circuit City. In 1984, the company officially changed its name to Circuit City Stores, Inc., and its growth exploded. The key to their success was a brilliant business model. They focused on three things: massive selection, competitive prices, and, most importantly, a highly knowledgeable, commission-based sales staff. When you walked into a Circuit City, you were greeted by someone who genuinely knew the difference between a Dolby B and a Dolby C noise reduction system. They could guide you through the maze of options to find the perfect product. This expert service built immense customer loyalty. Think about that for a moment. The first business lesson from our story: investing in your people can be your greatest competitive advantage. When your employees are experts and are motivated to help customers, they become your brand's most powerful ambassadors. Circuit City's innovation didn't stop at their sales floor. In 1993, they launched a little side project you might have heard of, CarMax. They applied the same principles of transparency, vast selection, and a no-haggle price to the used car market, and it was a revolutionary success. For a time, it seemed Circuit City could do no wrong. They were the undisputed king of electronics retail, leaving competitors in the dust. By the late 1990s, they were a multi-billion-dollar behemoth with hundreds of stores across the country. But as the new millennium approached, storm clouds were gathering on the horizon. The very ground beneath the retail world was beginning to shift, and Circuit City, once so agile, seemed to be standing still. The late 90s and early 2000s brought two formidable new challengers: Best Buy and the internet. Best Buy adopted a similar superstore model that made a crucial change. They moved away from a commission-based sales force to a non-commissioned, salaried staff. This lowered their operating costs significantly, allowing them to offer even more competitive prices. Customers, who were becoming more self-educated thanks to the internet, started to prioritize low prices over expert in-store advice. Circuit City, however, clung to its old model. They were proud of their expert salespeople, but those experts came at a high cost. Here we find our second critical business lesson: what made you successful in the past might not keep you successful in the future. Markets are always evolving. A successful business must be willing to honestly evaluate its own core strategies and adapt. even if it means letting go of something that once was a source of pride and strength. Stubbornly holding onto an outdated model in the face of clear market shifts is a recipe for disaster. As Best Buy gained ground, Circuit City made a series of baffling decisions. Instead of adapting, they doubled down on cost-cutting in all the wrong places. In 2000, they stopped selling appliances. This was a huge mistake. Appliances were a steady source of revenue and a key reason many customers visited their stores. By eliminating them, they essentially sent those customers directly to competitors like Sears and, increasingly, Best Buy. Then came the most infamous decision of all. In 2003, and again more drastically in 2007, Circuit City decided to fire thousands of its most experienced, highest-paid salespeople. The logic was simple: replace them with cheaper hourly employees to save money on payroll. But in doing so, they destroyed the very thing that had made them special. They gutted their greatest asset. Suddenly, the knowledgeable experts were gone, replaced by staff who often knew less than the customers they were supposed to be helping. Customer service plummeted, and shoppers who had once been loyal for decades began to walk away, disillusioned. This brings us to our third, and perhaps most important, lesson of the night: never sacrifice your core value proposition for short-term financial gains. Circuit City's value was its expertise. By firing their experts, they weren't just cutting costs. They were cutting out the soul of their company. They became just another big box store, but with less helpful staff and often higher prices than Best Buy or online retailers like Amazon. They had lost their identity. The final years were a slow, painful decline. While Best Buy was innovating with things like the Geek Squad to provide tech support, Circuit City was floundering. They made a belated and clumsy attempt to get back into the appliance game, but it was too little, too late. Their stores started to feel dated and empty. The bright, exciting destinations of the 80s had become sad, beige warehouses. The magic was gone. In 2008, the global financial crisis was the final nail in the coffin. With credit markets frozen and consumer spending grinding to a halt, the already weakened Circuit City couldn't secure the financing it needed to stay afloat. In November 2008, they filed for bankruptcy protection. They hoped to restructure and re-emerge as a smaller, more nimble company, but was not to be. By January 2009, they announced they were liquidating, closing all of their remaining stores and laying off over 30,000 employees. The giant had fallen. The story of Circuit City is a powerful reminder that in business, no empire is permanent. Success can breed complacency, and a failure to adapt to a changing world can be fatal. They had the winning formula, but they lost sight of what made them great. They prioritized short-term savings over long-term value and, in the end, paid the ultimate price. The brand has been revived online a few times since, but the magic of those original superstores, filled with wonder and expertise, is now just a memory. A story to be told as we drift off to sleep. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the rise and fall of Circuit City. I hope this story has given you some food for thought and perhaps a bit of relaxation. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Bedtime Business Stories for more tales from the world of commerce. Until next time, sleep well, and sweet dreams from us at Bedtime Business Stories.